Everyone wants to live an inspired life, yet so many people search for happiness following the footsteps of peers and taking advice from people who have different values and outcomes to which they're searching. There are people born into wealth, graduated from the best universities in the world, and there are people who have none of that and yet are living extraordinary lives full of fulfillment and reward. The purpose of this podcast is to share insights and strategies that allow you to question the status quo and think freely, so you can design your life and be who you want to be. We get one life. Time is our most valuable asset. I believe that when we're free and able to focus on meaningful work, we become better human beings. This is Always Free, and I'm your host, Jason Graystone.
Welcome to the leading podcast for financial empowerment and wealth creation. Subscribe to this podcast so you don't miss an episode. You can connect with Jason on social media and subscribe to the Jason Graystone YouTube channel for weekly videos. Don't forget to also subscribe to the weekly newsletter to receive frequent educational content and action steps to help you design your life so you can be who you want to be. For news on all future events and updates, go to jasongraystone.com.
Well, welcome back to the podcast, guys. Hope you all had a good week so far. If you're listening for the first time, this is the number one podcast for financial empowerment and wealth creation. And just last week, I launched the founder intake party for my Tears of Freedom program. And what can I say? I've just been blown away. We've had already, just in 1 week, we've had such unbelievable comments from the community in there, life-changing. We've had people in tears where it's made such a significant transformation in their life in just a few days. I've just been absolutely blown away, and it really reinforced the importance of that and the demand for that program, because it really does. I really do believe it will change people's lives, and it obviously is having a massive impact. So if you're a founder and you're listening to this, welcome to the program. And if you're interested in the next intake, we're going to be running that on the 12th of December. We're going to take in 26 people only, okay, to keep the value high, the caliber high. So if you want to get into that, stay tuned. And in this episode, okay, I wanted to kind of talk about, I've been getting, if you've listening to the podcast from the beginning, kind of going for a little journey in order of the Tears of Freedom philosophies, okay, the principles and the structure behind it. And it's really about controlling, okay, setting up the system, then going into controlling your income, then going into investing, then going into speculation, and what has been for me the most accelerated strategy for financial freedom. And if you know me by now, you know that I don't promote any partial truths or any kind of incomplete strategies. I've got my own thing that worked, and that's what I talk about. So we're nearly on to the trading side, and next week, in fact, over the next two podcasts, I want to share with you these two kind of systems, or these two topics that go hand in hand. And you'll get more of a kind of, you'll understand why that I do what I do and how I do it, and how that really keeps my financial freedom sustainable, and how it keeps, how it's a cut above what the majority of people do. So I was having a conversation about this week, and this is really what spurred it on, but I was having a conversation and someone kind of said, why do you think that it's so difficult? Why do you think people don't really achieve financial freedom? The majority of people. And what you have to realize is the system in the world that we live in, okay, is deliberately designed to stop the majority of people getting rich. If you took all the money in the world and counted it up, there's actually enough for everyone on the planet to be a millionaire. Okay? But it seems that we're in this kind of this world where if we want to get rich, we have to put in this absolute, enormous amount of effort to kind of break through and put a lot of strain and struggle and kind of work really, really hard and put in a huge amount of effort to break through and get rich and become wealthy and get to that place of financial freedom. Even if that isn't a lot of money, just to get free it requires a lot of effort, the way most people go about it. If you could just, think about it this way. If you could go to work and in 1 week you earn 2 million, say, and then you got the 2 million paycheck and you just said, oh, excellent, I'm just going to retire now, the world wouldn't work. It wouldn't work like that. Okay, so the system's designed specifically to spit out just enough cash for you to just scrape above what I've heard some of my mentors call the revolution level. Okay, the revolution level where, just so enough, so you paid just so enough so you're not out there kind of on the streets tearing the system apart, but just enough so that you can keep scraping through and you're not going to blow up the system. And the reason for this is because it's all stemmed down from the most powerful, handful of companies, really. There's probably 1,000 companies that own the world, literally own everything in the world. The governments, societies, banking systems, financial institutions, and they dictate what interest rate you pay, what the rates are on your mortgage, the bank loans, the rent you pay, your car payments, everything. Okay, so we've all been controlled by this, this handful of families that basically own the world. And it's this controlled energy. So if you're a business owner and you're opening a business, you're opening the business in that same energy. Okay, don't give anyone too much. Don't let them take ideas. Don't keep everyone on just enough so they don't rock the boat. And also, if you're a business owner and you do have a great product or service, an idea, you can only earn money from the people around you. And if they're all scraping through in that energy, they won't be able to afford your product. And if they're working for you, they won't have the energy to or the incentive to help build the product. And I'm talking about the majority, remember, okay? I'm not talking about your specific situation. I'm talking about the majority. And this is how it's all controlled. This is how it's all kind of controlled. And it's because the whole thing isn't designed for the people. It's designed to keep the institutions going, and the institutions rich, and the government's rich. So the only way that you can pull out of this and become financially free is to have, a force of will that's much stronger than the force that controls you. Imagine you're swimming in the sea and, you see a shark coming and the shark's getting really close to you. Imagine how much effort that you would put in if the shark was to grab you and pull you under the water. Imagine all the energy and effort that you would just muster up to get away from that shark. That is kind of what it's like for most people trying to achieve financial freedom. They have to put maximum force against this system, this kind of force field that we live in. But the truth is, you can have anything you believe in. You can have anything that you want. Okay, everyone has value to give to people. Everyone has a skill. So, as I say, in the next couple of podcasts, I want to kind of reiterate my way of having certain strategies to stay above that control of society, make it seamless, okay, make it almost effortless, okay, and how I strategize that. And this is really why I don't promote one strategy or one system, okay? Imagine going back. This is why I kind of look at it. Imagine going back in time and you go to the old war, okay, or the old war times where they had not the World War, but the really old times where they were on horseback and they had a musket and they had one-shot guns and knives, and then you turn up with a Lamborghini, okay, and a AK-47. Now, you in that car could not only go faster than the entire army, you could probably take out half of the army in less time it takes them to, in probably 1/1,000,000th of the time it takes them to take out half an army. And that's how I kind of like to set up my strategies for building wealth and financial freedom. So over these next couple of podcasts, that's kind of what I'm going to be talking about, because I'm going to introduce to you the different pieces and strategies in the system that allow you to be effortless and allow you to kind of attack from all angles and build wealth and stay out of that energy pattern that keeps you grounded and controlled by the 1,000 families that own the world. So before I get into it, I just want you to I want to reiterate this, okay? Your degree of financial freedom is directly correlated to a balanced ratio of your assets, lifestyle, and income. Okay, you can have it all, but there's ways and means to focus on each one. Because look, if all you're doing is spending less than you earn because you heard you got to spend less than you earn, that's great, but it's incomplete. Okay, because to feel free, we need time. So how much time are you spending and putting into the job just so that you can earn that income to spend less than you earn? Because if you've got no time, what's the point? That's an incomplete strategy. So everyone wants freedom. Everyone wants freedom as well. You've got to have a balance. So you've got to look at what income methods are you creating? What assets are you buying or developing? What is the profit in your business? What ratio are you raising your lifestyle at? How are you developing the incomes in your business? How efficient are they? How leveraged are they? So in this podcast, I want to cover business and in particular, sales. And the reason I want to cover sales is because this week we had to launch the Tears of Freedom program. And as I mentioned at the beginning of this podcast, it's literally been life-changing for people already. Okay, so I know that it's a great product. And if you've got something, everyone's got a skill, is good at something, everyone's got value to give. And if you've got something that can help someone, your job, you owe it to the world to go and sell it. Okay, you owe it to the world to get them to buy it. And not everyone understands the importance of buying it. No, people are blind to why they need to buy the thing. So it's your job to go and make that sale and influence it. So many people I've spent time with seem to shy away from it. They feel like they're being sleazy or slimy or greedy. But first of all, in business, you need to make sales to make money. End of story. Second of all, the ability to influence someone is one of the most important skills that you can master, whether it's your kids, your wife, your husband, your colleagues, investors, or your clients, or your friends. It really does just allow you to lead a life that flows in the direction you want whilst keeping everyone else happy around you. And as I say, aside from that, people need to be sold to. So look at it this way, right? Whatever you specialize in, whatever you're good at, it comes naturally to you now. But why is that? Because the reason it is because it's on your highest values. You've taken time out to go and understand it and know everything about it, and you're good at it and you love it, and it was high enough on your values for you to put all that time in to research it and be good at it. But the person you're trying to sell it to, of course, does not have it on their highest values. They're a client because they want what you've got. They want the result that you've got. All right? They cannot even see how your product or service will help them. So they literally need to be walked through step by step on why it's right for them, how it will help them, and why now is the best time to buy it. Because they've never focused on it before. They haven't focused on trying to fill whatever void it is that you're trying to, the problem it is that you're trying to solve for them. So they might not even know why they need it. So if you do feel greedy or unethical or sleazy selling, it probably means that your product or service isn't priced at a fair exchange to the level of which you can solve a problem for someone and enhance their life. So you might want to go and look back at your product and how remarkable that is, and kind of get a measurement of how much you're improving someone's life by it. Because if it's not, and you've got doubts about it, then it might be that's holding you back from actually going and sell. If you're feeling greedy and sleazy and ethical, whereas if you've got a great product, you don't feel that. You feel fair exchange. You feel honoured to give it to the world, and you're happy to receive the cash, and it's a fair exchange balance. So when you do have a great product, it's up to you to basically get your clients to see why they need it, how it will help them, how they can do it, how it's best for them now, and not why it's not best to wait till later, and what they can expect after they've used it. And until you walk them through that process, you can't possibly expect them to buy it. So the best way to do this is, first of all, just show up and do the right thing every day and give value. Okay, so without even selling, all you have to do is show that you care, show that you're giving value, show that you've got expertise, show that you know what you're talking about, and people will resonate with you. And then once you've got a group of people who are resonating with you, the best way that you can explain all of what I just said, how it's going to help them and all the rest of it, is to identify what their highest values are and then help them link your product or service to them by showing it how it will help them live by their highest values. So if their highest values is fitness and your system is wealth building, make them understand how building wealth will help with their personal fitness as well, if that makes sense. So listen to them, understand their highest values, and then promote your products and system in a way that allows them to understand how it will actually help with what they are motivated to achieve. And that's it. And to do this, you're going to have a conversation about price. As I say, last Monday we opened up the sales to the Tears of Freedom, and we literally had all of the spaces gone in 18 minutes. And did I walk them through pricing? Yes, I did walk them through pricing. But before that, I spent about 70 minutes influencing their decision to take action because I knew how much it would change their life. Some of them might not have seen to what degree, but after the presentation, they knew it was for them. And in order to get them to see how powerful the program was and why it was right for them, I first had to think about, what they would be thinking during the presentation. I knew that during my presentation that they'd be asking certain thoughts and questions in their head, so I needed to be ready for that to answer it beforehand and preempt it. And this isn't about being a sleazy salesman. This is about understanding you've got a great product, understanding that you've built a following that really, really could do with your product, and now it's up to you to basically show them why it's best for them so that they take action and buy it, and then it changes their life, because until they understand how it's going to do it, they won't buy. So, things that you want to bear in mind when you're doing a presentation, if you don't want to sound sleazy and salesy and all that stuff, really just think about what the people are asking. The people that don't have this high on their values, but they've got a void, so they know they need it, they're going to have certain questions in their head, okay? They're going to be thinking things like, who is this again? Who is this guy? I'll probably leave halfway. Is this even for me? They'll be thinking, oh yeah, but I'm different. I don't see how this works for me. Or they'll be thinking, what's the catch? Or they might be thinking, things aren't really that bad for me. I don't really need this. And they might be thinking, oh, I'll be all right in the end. Or they might be looking for something that they can use instantly. Give me something I can use. Give me some visuals that I can see how this is going to help me. They might be thinking, I'm not sure. They might be confused. They might not see how it all fits together. They might be thinking, I don't even know why I'm here. They might be thinking, I'll prove it. So they might want some kind of testimonials or something. They might be thinking, when you get towards the end, they might even be thinking, oh, here comes the sales bit. So preempt that. They might be thinking, what's going to happen next? They might be thinking, I'm special. I don't want to be part of the masses. They might be thinking, how do I actually commit to this? How much time do I need to this? They might be thinking, is this, where am I in this entire journey? So what I'm getting at is, if you can ask yourself the questions of what they will ask themselves, not knowing the product and service and how it will change their life as much as you do, then you can start knocking off without being salesy and sleazy, and you can answer these questions, and they'll be willing to buy. They'll understand how it's going to help them. And, literally after we did the sale, I had messages. In fact, one of the messages I've got here, it says, you've done a brilliant job here. I'm learning so much already and reflecting even more. I'm so glad I got talked into this now rather than waited till I felt I was ready for it. And that says it all. That basically says it all. That proves my point. You need to sell to people. You need to, if you've got a product and service that's going to help people, you're going to have to be able to go and proudly accept your payment for it after having a conversation of how it's going to change their life. And if you believe in your product and service and you know it will change lives, it's up to you to explain why. Don't be ashamed of it. Don't hide away. Be confident, influential. Be a marketer, okay? Be a marketer. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. The more you can market and the more you can spread your message, the better. If you've got a service, you're doing a disjustice to humanity by not getting it out to as many people as possible. So I just wanted to kind of reiterate the importance of sales. But as I said at the beginning, when you are out there putting yourself out there, giving value to people and being an energy, a force to be reckoned with, most of the sales is done. Okay, they can see that you know what you're talking about. They can see that you show up, so you're trustworthy, you're consistent, your message is consistent. They can check back and see if they like, your story and it all matches up. They can resonate with what you're saying, and most of the sales is done. And then you haven't got to be sleazy salesy after that. It's just a case of getting them to understand why they need your product. It shouldn't be the other way around. It's not like they should come to you to buy. They don't even know they need your product. So you've got to tell them why. So if you go through those questions that I just went through, and think about that when you're going out making a sales presentation or something like that, bear that in mind, and you'll find out that you won't even need to make a sale. You just go through the pricing at the end. If someone asks, what's the price? Here's the price. That's it. So next week I want to go through, this is one piece of the strategy. The next piece of the strategy is speculation. So I want to start talking about trading, what we do with the income when we get it. And we've spoken about investing. I want to talk a bit about speculation and how this adds to the arsenal. Remember I said about the Lamborghini and the AK-47 in the army? That's what we're talking about here. So we can just put all this stuff together and break through all of that energy, that effort that the masses are trying to break out of every single day. So that's it for this week, guys. I'll see you next week. If you want to join the next intake for the Tears of Freedom program, make sure you're in the Facebook group. It is tearsoffreedom.com/mastermind, and I'll see you in there. And until next week, have a great rest of your day and weekend, and I'll see you then.
Subscribe to this podcast so you don't miss an episode. For news on all future events and updates, go to jasongraystone.com.